What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Games, and today I am bringing you the test hand combo video for the Shark profile that I showed you guys the other day. Now I have actually made a couple of little changes, and the couple of changes I've made is I've added in Gozen Match, and I've also added in a small Astraltopia package because it does have some very nice synergy, so that you can build your board up and have some back row. So it's more so to kind of play around and provide additional utilities should you get Dark Rulered, or just be able to, that you're not relying all on your front row. So what we're going to do with this is we're probably going to do about 20 minutes worth of testing, which usually works out about 2 test hands going first and 2 going second. The deck is designed to go first, so obviously we'll see a little bit different and change up the plays as we see fit. So after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our first test hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, pretty much your opponent isn't going to be playing Yugioh today, let's put it that way. Now what I mean by that is as long as you use Silent Angler last, then you don't need to worry about your extensions. The only downside of this particular play is we could, if we didn't have the Silent Nettle, get a Shark plus Toad plus Utopic Draco Future. But what we're actually going to get with this hand is we're going to get a Kraken, a Shark and a Toad, which is really great anyway. So we'll normal summon down the Leaffish, as it is the only kind of card that we need. Leaffish will then trigger its effect to send a fish from deck to the graveyard, which basically just gives you water fodder for your Silent Angler. So I would probably send a card that you probably don't want to see another copy in your hand, or you don't really want to, it's a little bit later for it to do anything. So I would probably go for, where are you? Let's put left hand Shark in the grave, because then at the end of the day, if we get to right hand Shark, we're going to get a free revive from the grave, which is pretty cool as well. Then what you want to do here is you've got 2 options. You can go Aqua Spirit if you want to try and maintain a Utopic Draco Future, but we're going to keep it very simple, and we're just going to special summon down the Nettle. Going to overlay these. These are going to go into a Bahamut Shark, detach Lifeless Leaffish. At least we can try and attempt to draw if we really want to, and go into a Toad. Then what you're going to do is you're going to special summon down your Aqua Spirit by banishing either left or right. It does, left Shark or the Leafless Life-Fish. We're not going to get free fish in the grave, so you can get rid of the Leafless quite easily. And then you're going to special summon down your Silent Angler. You're going to overlay these. Now you could go for another Shark and another Toad, but honestly I'd rather go over Kraken. Because what Kraken does is it sends all your opponent's monsters to water. It gives you the ability for a pop. You've got Imperial Order. And off of the back of that, if your opponent does try to kill the Kraken, you then get the effect to summon out 2 of the spawn Krakens and kind of go from there. So it's a very nice defensive board. It did use our entire hand, but keep in mind that this was literally just extenders. We didn't really get any of our really good starters that you ideally want to see, and it's still a very good hand. So continuing through, like I said, if we've got time, we'll probably do like an additional go in the first hand, just to kind of show you how it is. But the idea is to kind of highlight the consistency and the go-to play that you want to make with this deck. And there is some very nice synergy with the Astraltopia as well, which I'm hoping I'll be able to show you throughout this as well. Anyway, so another decent shuffle and a good old cut. Our opening hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, all the monsters this time. Again, not a bad hand at all. You've kind of got a few plays. The issue with the right and the Buzzsaw right now is they both want to be normal summoned. That's the biggest issue. So ultimately you could just sack off the right hand Shark, and what would have made right hand so much better was if you control no monsters apart from water monsters, or if you only control water monsters, would have given you a bit more utility. But we're going to start off with our Buzzsaw. This is like your best starter. It is perfect fodder for Imperms, Ash and Veilers. Keep that in mind, but you do have, with this remaining hand, because of the Aqua Spirit and Stingray, you do have ways to play around it, so it's not the end of the world. Going to use Buzzsaw Shark's effect. Now, the way I usually see this, because the card you summon has its effects negated, you go with Silent Angler if you've got a way of bringing it back from the grave to the hand, or because its effects are going to be negated apart from when it hits the grave, your next best option is your leafless, your live fish, for the pure fact that if you get enough fishes to the grave, which we will do, you could get that one top deck draw that could help you out as well. So, because we've got Remora as well, we're in a very good position. What you want to do here is you want to overlay the leaf fish with your buzzsaw. You're going to detach, make sure you put leaffish in the graveyard. It doesn't really matter too much because all materials are going to end in the grave anyway. And then you're going to go into your toad. Now keep in mind, you still got your extenders as well. So you can, right now, if you want to, turn this Bahamut shark into a Vespinato. You could then use the effect with Remora, and this will then allow you to bring back 2 fish. So you go Remora. Remora will have 2 fish in the grave because you've got your buzzsaw and your leafless. You're going to bring both of those back, and then you've still got place to make. So you're going to overlay 2 here. You might as well go for another shark and another toad. There we go, shark, effect, second toad. There we go. Try and line these up. There we go, that way, that way, that way, that way. And then we'll move this one here. So we've got 2 zones to the left and right free. Now, you've got access to your extenders. And again, it depends if you want to. Now, if you're playing triple shark, then you go for, in this particular hand, because you've resolved the Remora, if you resolve the Remora, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have the ability to end on triple toad, and then a utopic future. So, and the way you would do that is you would pretty much bring down the Stingray, discard in the right hand. You would then overlay these into another shark. Shark would detach to bring out a toad, and then you'd overlay the 2 sharks into utopic future. Now, because I've actually decided to take out the 3rd shark and the 3rd toad, just so I can access alternative options, your other play that you're actually going to go for on this one here is you're going to go with a Stealth Kraken. Now, what this does is it turns all monsters on the field to water, and it gives you a pop. Now, ultimately, the shark to a triple toad would be better, but it's a very rare occurrence that you're going to be able to resolve this in this particular stance. Whereas with this particular ball, what you've got is you've got a pop and a double float, and then you've got 2 negates here as well. The idea is before the Kraken dies, you want to be using your toads, because then the toads are going to let you loop back 1 toad and the buzzsaw back to the hand. And that's basically just showing you that you can recur your resources and give your opponent a couple of issues. If they can't get rid of the shark, shark is then just going to use its effect again to bring out a toad again once it recycles itself. So they do have a lot to kind of deal with and a lot to kind of get rid of, which is really nice as well. So again, that was a very nice kind of hand to show you with all monsters, and it was kind of nice in the fact that it could play through some hand traps. Like, we still had that Aqua Spirit in the hand, so I think the only time it would have not been as great should it be interrupted is if you interrupted the Remora to revive from the grave. But even then, the Aqua Spirit would have given you the ability to recover should your Buzzsaw have been stopped at any way. So over another decent shuffle and a good old cut, we'll do one more test and going first. Why not? Let's see if we can get it going again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm actually quite happy with this because I can now show you off the Astrotopia play, and the Astrotopia has some very nice synergy when you use it with Kraken, which is great. Now, you've got 2 options here. Now, the reason I would go for the Princess, well, it's difficult, because no matter whether you start with Buzzsaw or Princess, because you don't have an extender, you pretty much lose. Now, if you had an extender in the hand, I would go with Buzzsaw rather than the Princess, because the Princess banishes and that's it. Whereas if you've got an extender, you can also on the Buzzsaw, if it gets ashed, impermed or veiled, you still have the ability to special summon a level 4 and go from there. So this one we're going to show you the max possible combo. So you're going to go into your Princess, you're going to use Princess's effect to banish it to special a level 4. Now what that does is that allows you to special summon out, wherever it is, that will let you special summon out your Lantern Shark. Now because Princess doesn't negate its effects, Lantern Shark will allow you to special summon down Buzz from the hand. It does lock you into XYZs, which again you don't worry about at all, so you're not even really too worried. You bring down the Buzz, Buzz's effect can then go off to special another one from the deck. Now again, because we don't have anything like White Mirror, the best option that I would say to go for would be, wherever it is, your Leafless Life-ish. For the pure fact that, again, if you put enough fish in the graveyard, you're going to be able to recycle it, which is nice and easy anyway. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, is you have the ability right now. So option 1 would be standard Shark Toad. But by doing a Shark Toad play, it means your Astraltopia is going to limit what you can go into. Because most of your XYZs require waters, it will only let you go into a Baguska or an Abyss Dweller. However, if you decide to overlay Buzz and Lantern first into Kraken, Kraken will make all cards on the field water. So you then trigger the Astraltopia's effect to special summon itself down. Using Astraltopia's effect, you can send a copy of itself, or you can send the right-hand shark. It doesn't matter which one you do. Both of these are going to be plays for the next turn anyway. By doing so, that's then going to let you get, for free, Number Protection, which is a counter trap, so that when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect while you control a number, which will be Kraken, you can negate it. And then if a XYZ is destroyed, you get to reset this. Now, because Kraken makes both of these waters, obviously Leafless is already water, it does then unlock the ability to go into Shark and then a Toad. Whereas if you did it the other way around, you wouldn't have been able to make Kraken and your board would have been Shark, Toad, Abyss Dweller. So something very important to keep in mind. Now, obviously, the board isn't as amazing as the previous one we've seen, but we've still got an Omnigate off the Toad, we've got a Pop off of the Kraken and a Float off of the Kraken, and then we've got a Counter Trap Negation. So it kind of shows you what Astraltopia can add. Now, obviously, if you don't have the ability to make Kraken, then, of course, that's when you start falling back on a Baguska or an Abyss Dweller. Keeping in mind that if a Baguska is made with left-hand and right-hand Shark, it can't be destroyed by a card effect. So you can pretty much sit on a Baguska in defense for as long as you want until you've regained. You'll still detach the materials, but because it can't be destroyed by card effects outright, and the effect is provided to it, not via the material, it pretty much stays alive and keeps everything in defense. Now, obviously, your opponent will eventually build out a board present and go into links to deal with it, but it still causes them a lot of issues. Anyway, now let's start going second. Let's show you what that additional card can do. Now, like I said, when you've seen the traps in the deck, it does kind of lend itself better for going first than it does going second, so there is something to consider. Anyway, our first test hand of 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's actually a crazy good hand. Like, crazy good. You've got so much to bait your opponent out with, it's incredible. We're going to go with Reinforcement of the Army. And the Reinforcement of the Army will search us wherever he is. Probably stacked together right at the top. Yep, Astraltopia. Now, what I would do here, because I actually want Remora, I kind of want to keep Stingray as well, and I want to keep the Ice Knight. I'm actually going to activate Desires. So we're going to shuffle these up. The only issue, or the only loss we would get is if we banish all 3 of our Princess, which would suck. So we're going to go with Desires, and we're going to banish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we lost our counter trap, which isn't that big of an issue because I plan to go Zeus plays anyway. No! And left-hand Shark. Okay, well, I suppose the only thing we gained off of that was a card that we really don't care about getting rid of off of 1 for 1. So we'll activate 1 for 1. We'll get rid of the left-hand Shark. Sadly, we don't have a right-hand Shark. I mean, this would have been really good because what we could have done is we could have gone into the Princess. The Princess would have gone into Buzzsaw. Buzzsaw could have gone into right-hand. And then we would have had the ability to bring back left-hand. So, anyway, going to the Tuna Princess. You're going to trigger her effect to banish her to summon out a Buzzsaw. You're going to activate the Buzzsaw effect, which will let you special a level 4 from the deck. Its effects are negated. So, again, Leafless has been banished, which is a huge shame. So, we're probably just going to go for Angler. Keep in mind, this is all without using our normal summon yet. So, we are in very, very good position. So, then what you want to do here is you want to overlay these two, and you're going to go into a Shark. You're going to use the effect here to summon out a Toad. It's actually a real shame. I would have really much liked to be able to show you right-hand Shark play, but we did unfortunately banish it off of the Desires, but that is part of the game, so it's not, nothing too surprising there. Anyway, off the back of this, we've still got a lot that we can do. So we've got a toad to protect our plays going forward. You've got more than enough fish in the graveyard right now. Once you go into, and what we're doing here is we're going to go into the Vespinato. Where are we? So we're going to go into the Vespinato. We're going to use the Vespinato's effect, or well, the effect of Remora, to summon itself down and then revive 2 fish. So we're going to bring back Buzz, and we can bring back Angler. This just unlocks more XYZ plays for us. So we can overlay these. We're going to go into... no, try to figure this one out. We've still got a normal summon. Like, we've still got so much more plays to do. Like, it's crazy. Shark will go into another toad. And then this is where you've got to kind of think about this, because the issue is Shark can't get us into Utopia because we don't play the 3rd copy. If you played the 3rd copy, then by all means you're in a very good position. Alternatively, what we can do now is we can normal summon the Aquanite because we haven't normal yet. You can overlay these 2, and this is probably where you're going to have to sacrifice a rank 4. So for now, I mean, we could get a double pop. We get a double pop. I mean, if we went with Kragan here and didn't get a toad, I think we probably could. It doesn't really matter. Basically, what you're trying to do now is you're trying to make a non-number rank 4. And then by doing so, what you then get the ability to do is you put these together just to kind of free up some space. Don't think it really makes too much difference. Let's rewind it. I'm just going to try something a little bit different I've just noticed. So we bring down Remora. Remora brings back 2 fish. We still have this in hand. Now what I'm thinking about doing is something completely different. Is rather than going Shark Toad, is if we went into our Stealth Kraken, not Stealth Kraken spawn, if we went into, where are you? Our Stealth Kraken, and then use the effect of the Astraltopia. We've got nothing to search, so it doesn't matter. It's just a free summon. Because it is now a water, what we can do here is we can put these into a Kraken spawn. Now the reason we would do this is because with the Stealth Kraken itself, because it turns all our opponent's monsters to water, the Stealth Kraken can pop a card. What that will then allow you to do is that then allows you to use Stealth Kraken Spawn's effect. You can destroy 1 water monster your opponent controls, and if this card is special summoned by the effect of a number monster, which it isn't, it gets an additional effect. But what that allows you to do is that allows you to pop 2 cards. Now, if we had the ability, which we sadly don't, yeah we do, what am I talking about? We normal summon Ice Knight, we use Ice Knight's effect for an additional normal summon of the White Stingray, because I've just focused on getting it special summoned. And that's where you can go into Shark. Shark's effect, bring out another Toad, and then you can put, after popping, you can put these together and go into Utopic Future and Utopic Draco Future. So you go, and you still got Desires in your hand for the follow-up play, and if your 2 Toads go, you start recurring your resource in the form of Buzzsaw as well. And then if we didn't get rid of the counter trap, we could have sent this and got the counter trap. So I would assume that this is game at this point because you've popped 2 cards. You've still got the attack of Vespinato, 2 Toads, a Draco Future, and a Stealth Kraken. You've got a negate here, 2 on the negate here, and another pop here. So you've got a lot to play with. Okay, we're currently on 18 minutes, so we'll do one more test and go in second, which is absolutely fine. I'm not going to rush it too much for you, but as you can see, like, thinking about different routes actually worked out a lot better for me in that particular test hand, because I was able to produce a better end board by not going directly to Shark and Toad, which is really nice. Anyway, so after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, our final test hand going second will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, a very interesting hand. Like, very interesting. The issue is, I mean, the White Mirror is a free monster reborn. Everything else isn't so great. So we're going to activate the reinforcement in the army. It's not going to be as aggressive as we did in the last test hand, but still pretty good. So you're then going to normal summon your Lantern Shark. Lantern Shark will then let you get an additional normal summon, which will be the Leafless Livefish. Your Leafless will then use its effect to send a Silent Angler from the deck to the graveyard, because then that puts White Mirror, or that then actives, makes White Mirror active. What you want to do here is you can overlay these, and again, I think what you might want to be looking at, actually doesn't really matter too much. I think to protect our plays going forward, you're probably better off going Shark, Detach, and go into Toad. It just protects your plays moving further forward from here. You need to special summon down the Astraltopia first, because once you special summon the Angler from your hand, you can't special summon from the hand for the rest of the turn. You're going to send the left-hand Shark to use its effect to give you the counter trap. Not that you might not even need it this time, but at least you've got it there. Then you want to activate the White Mirror. The White Mirror will target the Angler in the grave and bring it back, and then trigger its effect to search you out a second copy of Silent Angler. There we go. We've still got Call by the Grave, so any hand trap that our opponent tries to throw away, we get rid of anyway. Okay, let's get rid of that. Now, keep in mind that at the moment these aren't waters. The summon of Astraltopia isn't a necessity, because unless we want to make an Abyss Dweller right now, which there's very few reason to do so, then we can just special summon down the Angler and pretty much go from there. So you've got, again, a couple of options on this one. It depends on where you want to go. You can go Shark, Toad, Utopia, and Draco, or you can go Vespernato, Toad, and Kragan. So it just depends on if you want to set up the pop off of your Kragans, or if you don't, really. The strongest board, in my opinion, is to go Shark, Toad, wherever it is, there we go, Shark, Toad, and then the two Sharks into your, there you go, F0, and then Draco Future, and then you can set two. So your Draco Future is going to kill something, your two Toads should, in theory, kill something as well. You set the two, you pass. Now, your number protection is set good to go, because you control number F0. F0's got a monster negate, you've got two Toads who've got Omni negates, and then the Toads are going to recur your graveyard resource, which ultimately, first off, I'd probably go for Lantern Shark, and then I'd put the Toads back. You still have the ability of Leafless if you wanted to, because you do have free fish. What I would probably do is I would banish this and put back, I mean, you can put back both Anglers, but if you top deck a White Mirror, then your Angler's alive. So it really depends on what you want to put back. So ultimately what I'm saying is you'll have an additional card, whatever this is. Okay, well, that's pretty good, but anyway, that's it for the test hands, to kind of show you what the deck can do. I think in this video I've been able to show you all the little tips and tricks that I really wanted to kind of highlight, with like the Astraltopia, and then the ability of making Kragan first before you start going into some of your XYZs with Astraltopia, because then it just opens up the door to get into the Sharks, to get into the Toads, and to get into everything else that you kind of want to look at, which is really kind of cool as well, and gives you a couple of different options. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you want to see an updated version of this build with the Astraltopias and everything else involved, then by all means, please let me know in the comments down below. Get the video to at least 50 likes, and I'll be more than happy to bring it to you. Anyway, as absolutely always, guys, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.
Yeah.